Okay, welcome to the campus tour, Computer Science Capstone for summer 2025. Our sponsor, Bruce Urban, and our team members, team lead Jonah Pattison, myself, and Corlin Fardal, Ryan Mayers, Vlad Chevdar, Q Ntsasa, and Jonah Wright. Um, our goal was to build a mobile application that allowed for self-guided campus tours of Portland State University. We have a demo video that I will full screen here and talk to you about. This demo here shows the home screen being opened initially, and you can view some of the hotspots you have already been to. We're viewing the park hotspot. You can click on images and videos to full screen them. You can also zoom into these images as well. And then we're going to move over to the unvisited hotspots where you can click on one and it displays that the content is locked, and then it'll show it to you in the Google Maps view where you have an aerial view and you can see that the hotspot is orange, meaning it's unvisited. You can move over to your device's maps and create a plan to get there, a path to get there, and you can also see the different overlays as well to view the buildings or just view an animated version of the maps. And this is the augmented reality overlay showing the icons floating from the device. And the user is walking towards the hotspot now. And these are navigational indicators on how to get to the next hotspot. And as the user navigates to that hotspot, once they're in a 25-foot radius of that hotspot, we will see that they get an indication that they're in that hotspot. They can then click that and then view that content there. The user can then travel back to the home screen and see that they have visited this hotspot and all that hotspot's content is there for them in their home feed. Now we can see how the app reacts when the user does not share their location access. We give them an error message explaining that is how the app works, so they need to turn it on for the app to function correctly. And same thing for the camera access being required. And as soon as they turn those back on, the app works fine again. And that concludes our demo for our working app. Moving on to the next slide, our project overview. The problem faced to us by the sponsor was that our campus tours were only offered at fixed times, which created an issue that students looking to go to Portland State that wanted to learn more about our campus might miss these tours, or these tours might be too long. And go over information that they aren't interested in. And so we were thinking that a solution would be a self-guided campus tour. And so they could do this on their own mobile device. They could come to campus whenever it fits their schedule, and they could use their device to get all the same information that a tour guide would give them.
Hi, I'm Ryan Mayers, and I'm going to talk about the main features of this app. So the app itself has three main sections: the user interface, the Google Maps integration, and then the camera and augmented reality. As you can see here, we made sure to format our app with the PSU colors. If you look at the bottom of the homepage, you'll see our nav bar. The button on the left will take you to the Google Maps integration, which allows you to navigate to and look at all of the hotspots without leaving the app. And then on the right, you have the camera and AI function, which is where you will view all of the hotspots.
For Google Maps integration and functionality, some of the features include allows for navigation, view hotspots, view user location, and map recenters to PSU if moved too far away and inactive for 5 seconds. And also zoom in, zoom out available. And it also alerts user that they can only access the content by visiting PSU campus hotspot. And for campus and augmented reality, our goal was to research immersive ways for users to enjoy tour content. And users can visualize throughout their device where the nearby hotspots are and see what directions to head in. Once users reach a hotspot, they are prompted with alert on the camera alert to view the hotspot content.
We talk about some of the additional features that we have. The first portion is the backend portion, or lack thereof, and the curator role, which serves as the backend. I'll talk a little bit the remote dev environments to solve some issues with working on the code with different machines, and then we're going to talk about the admin mode and some of the additional things like the app icon. The curator role serves as the person who creates all the hotspots that exist in the app. A big portion of the app is the front end, but obviously the front end needs something in the back end to view, and these are the hotspots. And the person who creates these is the curator. A large portion of the curator is their ability to view the current tour on GitHub without any kind of different tools. They can create new hotspots. They can upload new tour content, such as image, videos, and text, and they can do all this using any tools they want to do. They want to use like Photoshop, any kind of video editing software, they can do it on their end, and then they just have to upload it to the GitHub where it's put into the app. You can edit current hotspots by editing the text inside the GitHub. They can edit the hotspot locations, edit what kind of assets are in the hotspot without even uploading it or deleting it. They just have to change what it's assigned. And they can do all of this, and this is the important part, they can all do this remotely without having to do anything on their end. All the functionality is stored in GitHub. There's nothing proprietary that they need to interact with except for the GitHub portion, which is just JSONs and images that they need to upload.
Yeah, my name is Ntsasa. I worked a little bit on dev environments and the augmented reality portion. Something that we ran into pretty early on was that a lot of us were running on different operating systems, and in order to test with iPhones, you needed to test specifically with a Macintosh. So because of that, we ran into a lot of barriers for being able to even test on a lot of our environments. And so moving forward, we just we're thinking of some solutions that might be better overall for a team. And so we decided on having one central development environment where basically all of us could be able to remote in somehow and be able to upload our code and be able to all work on the same software. And that central environment would be somewhere local where everyone could then go and just be able to use it as a community, plug in, test your environments. So also talking about the admin role, the app icon, and some other miscellaneous features that we decided to add. The admin role is another role separate from the curator and the user. Basically, you can add the admin code, and it will unlock all the information that it should be available to users should they go unlock it themselves walking. So this is basically a space for someone to see how everything has been uploaded, all of the information that's attached to each hotspot, a picture of the hotspot, and basically anything that a user would have access to as long as they found it and unlocked it themselves. Moving on to the app icon. That's something that Jonah P decided to do with Photoshop himself. So that's completely unique to us and something that someone decided to do in their own time and love and joy of the game. And then we also decided to add some documentation for further development, just because of the time that we were able to work with. So all of us added a little bit to it that were basically just some ideas and research moving forward, how we could essentially get our app to where we decided or where we wanted to originally with some of these extra features. So there's a bunch of documentation there for people to look into to see where the next steps could be.
I'm Corlin Fardal, and I mostly worked on the AR code. Going over our project workflow, we started by defining the project with the sponsor. We chose Flutter as our framework for development, and we assigned roles to everyone. We then proceeded to do weekly sprints and stand-ups, where we discussed what we'd done in the week and plan what we'd do the next week, and continue to communicate with our sponsor about what we'd done. As we developed, we implemented features we'd planned and changed technologies when we ran into issues. We built and refined our UI and UX. And then as we wrapped up, we made final tweaks and updates and finished our documentation and prepared this presentation. We entered some unexpected challenges with our AR plugins. We first tried AR Flutter plugin that was built for 3D AR objects. But that was an outdated plugin and ran into some dependency issues. We also decided that building like big 3D AR objects would both be a lot of work for the creators and cause some issues on every platform. And we then moved on to AR location view, which worked similar to our final result, but also had issues with making things load. So we moved to a more like from scratch solution off of just the camera plugin.
Hey, Jonah P here. Just want to talk about lessons learned during this summer 2025 Capstone project. One of the first things that's definitely easy to think of, but harder to practice, is that communication is key. When more people were sharing their opinions in our weekly stand-ups and more people were providing what they had worked on extensively, explaining it to other team members, we found that we all just understood what we were working on more, and it was easier to perform that next week's sprint. So just communication was definitely the most important part of this summer term. Another thing we wanted to hit on was just sometimes you don't always get the results you want. When we first heard that we were going to be researching some augmented reality, I think a lot of us got really excited that we could implement some modern Pokemon Go-like features and create some massive objects floating in the sky that people could aim their phone at. And like Corlin mentioned, we ran into a lot of issues, a lot of dependency issues, plugins that have been deprecated by Flutter itself. And so we ended up switching to the AR overlay, which is what we have implemented now, and it is working fine. But yeah, so sometimes you just have to move on and focus on what's working. What are you getting good results with, and can you stick with that? And can that be the main portion of the app? And that's what we did. The third thing I wanted to mention was just the more you plan to define project terms, the easier it is to develop. It seemed like we were chatting a lot about what we were going to do, how we were going to do it. But once we had a UML diagram, once we had user interface mockups, it seemed that everyone really easily just tacked on and was like, well, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to do this. I'm implementing this feature. So it just seemed that once we had a full definition of the project and visual definitions of the project as well, it was pretty simple for us to start putting the main elements together. So that's the end of this presentation. I just want to thank, as a team lead, I just want to thank all of my team members. Everyone did a great job, and wanted to give a special thanks to our sponsor, Bruce. All right, adios.